Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This is your NCIS Season 17, Episode 2 reaction. We have come into the light, which is the title for this episode of the show. We know so much more than we did beforehand.
So much good stuff to talk about.
It almost feels like when you go into a candy store that has just opened and there is like all of these smells, but you don't really know where to go first because they all look really, really tasty, and then eventually you just sort of like collapse in the middle of the floor because you can't make up your mind. That's where I am with this episode in terms of like, what did I like the most? I don't really know.
Yeah,
This was a really good episode. We'll figure it out. We will not collapse in the middle of this video in my metaphor of the candy store. But before we go any further, if you do enjoy this discussion, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates, including a preview for episode 3.
Coming up.
Rest assured, there's a lot to talk about there. But we're not getting on the Slivs train in this video. We're going to talk about Ziva. Big takeaway, I mean, let's just start at the end. She has a chance to talk to Tony in that given moment, and you know that everyone's hearts were just like, boom, 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 like right out of their chest, and she doesn't do it.
I was yelling. How could you not pick up that? I was yelling. I'm trying not to yell here in the video, but man, I was shouting. Holy smokes, how could she not pick up that phone? And I understand she probably wants to go about this another way.
Yeah.
But after being in hiding for so long and not getting to speak to Tony and hear more about you, she has restraint that I would have ripped that phone right out of his hand. Flip phone and all.
Every time I see Gibbs with the flip phone, there's a part of me that's like, did this show actually film like 7 years ago and I'm just missing something?
Oh, I would have been like, yeah, and flip. Hey, baby. That's how that would have gone if I was Ziva. There is no way I wouldn't be able to control myself.
Ziva must be like planning like one of those like one-on-one dates you get on like The Bachelor where you like start off on the helicopter and it's like all these different things. She must be planning like the most epic date imaginable with Tony.
And I am starting to feel like, I feel like we are going to see that date, that reunion. She did not pick up the phone because this is happening. I have no actual confirmation of this. This is just happening in my mind. There's been too much lead up. Her sitting at that desk and going back into NCIS and sitting at her desk and looking across at Tony's desk. I thought my heart was going to explode out of my chest. This has to happen. If anybody out there is listening to me that can make this magic happen, Steve, Frank,
okay.
You know I'm talking to you.
Haven't we done enough to Steve and Frank after last week?
Please make this happen. You guys have brought me on the ride to Ziva Town. It is time now to make this magical bachelor date happen. Make it happen.
Couple of different things here. One, if it's Ziva Town, is this like Tiva City that we're now venturing towards?
That's right.
All right. Also, hold on a second, because I got to grab my tinfoil hat here for a second. Let me just stick this on here. All right. Okay, so I think I hear it was cut out of the script, but that Ziva was actually supposed to say, oh, yeah, I can't pick up that phone at the moment because there's this other show called Bull that's requiring the actor who plays Tony to be over there and doing something else. Like, here is my theory on all of this. I'm standing by this. Michael films in New York. NCIS films in LA.
Yes.
As far as I know, there's not a secret underground tunnel that goes from like Santa Clarita to like Manhattan where they can just like go in like 5 seconds. So it takes a lot of time to get Michael over to LA.
Absolutely, it takes time. I didn't expect to see it in the premiere. I didn't expect to see it in the second episode. She could have picked up that phone though. I will die on that hill. But there will be time for it to happen.
There will be time, such as maybe Bull goes off for the holidays a day or two later this year.
Yeah.
And we know that Cote is going to be in 4 episodes. There we go, 4. I always forget how to count in these videos. But, like, she's already been in 2.
Yep.
What if the final episode that Cote films for NCIS is filmed right before the holidays, And what if that just so happens to align perfectly with Michael's schedule? Because let's be real here. They're not going to give us Tony in episode 3.
No, and I don't expect that. And that's okay. They don't need to get... I do not have to have everything at once.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted her to pick up that phone and fade to black, and then we could have that next date or conversation or whatever's going to happen down the line. I don't need everything at once.
Wait, hold on a second. You wanted her to pick up the phone and have it fade to black?
Yeah.
Okay, but we would have not gotten along very well in this video.
Yeah. No, I want a slow ride. And so far, this has been a bullet train. Everything is happening in 2 episodes. I am getting it all. I didn't need everything crammed into 2 episodes. There is too much happening. I needed just the Ziva to be happening in these 2 episodes. I got exactly what I wanted. I want to see Tiva, and it needs its own episode. Altogether, its own episode. It does not need to be tacked on to the end of this really amazing Ziva arc.
I do feel like if she had picked up the phone and it faded to black, my slow ride would have just like collided against the brick wall. It would not have been good for me.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I'm alone in this, and I am fine to be on this island. I do not need everything jammed in. I like slow reveal, an unwrapping layers upon layers of beautiful Ziva and Tiva and Tolly and Tony. It can all come together nice and slow for me. There's more time. The door is open.
In the end, I'm happy with the way that they did it. As frustrated as I was in the moment, I think this is the best way to do it, because I feel like if she picked up the phone, a lot of people would have wanted to hear it, but because she didn't, you're making it okay to go down the road with it. But there are so many other things that we need to discuss within this video, including a segment, what is your favorite Ziva meeting and or reunion that happens within this episode? Because I have been all over the place with this in my head. I'm like, am I going to go for Ziva nearly killing McGee in the diner? Am I going to go for Ziva getting into a fake fight with Torres?
Or Ducky waiting 4 hours for her in the dark. There was a lot of really...
There was a lot of feels.
There was just so many feels. Yeah, I was jumping around as well. As soon as I heard that Ducky had waited all that time for her in the dark, I was like, yeah, that's the moment. And then I saw McGee bringing out his children's pictures. By the way, can we just talk about the fact that McGee's children are so much older now? Can we have another McGee episode where we get to see his children this season, please? Before the next time we see them, they're going off to college.
I have zero awareness of the internal clock of anything on NCIS and like how time works at all, because it is sort of like, it feels like it was just yesterday. And then I see that picture and I'm like, how old am I? Like, how old have I gotten over the past few years?
Yeah, I feel like well, it's just the last time I feel like we saw them, they were babies. And, and now they're toddlers. And where is the time
I know, it's true. But all right, I will give you, though, the moment that almost broke me is when, and it was McGee and Ziva, when McGee says, come home. And I was just like, right there. You got me.
Yep. And then they threaded it beautifully into her sitting at that desk and looking over at Tony's desk. I thought that the premiere gave me everything that I needed in my life, but this episode...
Here's the funny thing.
Holy smokes.
It's really funny because we have all this wonderful sentimentality, and we want to believe, oh, Ziva is just like us. She's feeling all the feelings, like her heart is exploding when McGee tells her to come home. Then she goes in there and she plants the bug in the office, and she's like sneaking around, and it's like, you know, Ziva, she's got a clear on and off switch when it comes to this sort of stuff that I apparently do not possess. Because if I was her in this situation, I would have just like went and like hugged all the various parts of the set, like went to my desk and just like sobbed all over the chair.
That was what Ziva did in Ziva's way. She absolutely sat in that chair, looked over, her heart grew even bigger and swelled. But yeah, she had a job to do. She's trying to make sure that she can get back to her family, and now she can.
What I liked about this whole episode is it was basically like a twist within a twist within like a little bit of a twist, because we saw in the promo that Ziva could possibly be working with Sahar and all of the bad people in order to ensure that all their operations were a success, and yeah.
Nobody believed that. I didn't believe that. It was a great idea and all that, but there's no way anyone was going to really buy in that we're going to bring back Ziva, and now she's gone to the dark side, and she's... No. Just no.
She didn't have a Sith Lord robe. I hear that's required if you want to turn to the dark side.
I feel like
so
yes, but no.
I think... I was concerned. Not so much concerned that she was working with the bad team, but like maybe like 15 minutes out from the end of this episode, I was starting to be like, is Ziva just going to be gone for the show for a little while because she's like in prison, and maybe like down the road this season they're going to end up clearing her name and showing that she's innocent? We know there is nothing a long-running crime show likes to do more than the episode where a good guy is arrested and then they have to clear their name.
It's true, but I don't think Cote would have come back for a storyline like that. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see Ziva come back to be dragged off in handcuffs and go to jail until they can clear her name. Nobody wants to see that. It's been done a whole bunch of times. Yeah, it's NCIS and they have a procedural element to this show, and they do like to run with that, but they are on a different track right now. They are riding us in a different direction. I just am really glad they decided to not go that way. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see Ziva be a bad guy. Nobody wants to see Ziva go to jail. But we all wanted to see her pick up that phone.
All right. So, I mean, the part of this that I really did love about, the big reveals at the end is that ultimately, yes, Ziva made Sahar think that she was willing to work with her, that she was willing to take this deal. But in reality, she planted enough seeds to make sure that Gibbs would recognize it, and that Gibbs would sort of realize, okay, you know what? Ziva's up to something. What is she up to that I need to be in this place? So Ziva times all this out perfectly. And this sort of ties back, though, into Gibbs learning from what is a big mistake. And I don't know if this is something that's going to haunt him forever, which is not following those clues and not really looking for Ziva after she was dead.
Yeah, but it was really interesting, that last scene between the two of them, where he basically was breaking down and saying he can't handle her dying more than once. That was it. He had to accept what was happening and move on, because if he went after her and found out she again was dead, it was too much. Where she, on the other hand, was like, I would go through that 1,000 times, and we've learned that she did.
Yeah, they tied that back in.
They tied that back in from when McGee and
Gibbs were captured. Yeah, all that South America stuff. Who would have known?
Yeah, but it was in the premiere. I was really, Ziva, you tell him, why didn't you go after her and look for her? And then hearing him talk about it, it made me see the other side. I understand both of their sides. There are people that would go again and again and again for their family members, to the ends of the earth, to break their hearts 1,000 times. There are other people that may not survive something like that and need to not do that, and need to grieve and heal and move forward. And this is now my funeral director side coming out of me. For those of you who don't know, I'm a licensed funeral director, and I've seen it all. So I've seen lots of people grieving in different ways when people pass away. So I get it from both sides.
And I think also, just adding to it, the fact that Gibbs has lost people he's cared about before. Yeah. And I think he's experienced that level of pain. It was interesting how they did it, because in the end, I am in this position now where I really do kind of see where both of them are coming from, and I don't think either one of them is wrong. I think Ziva's justified to feel really angry about this, because this is not how she would have reacted if she was Gibbs.
Yep.
And Gibbs is entitled ultimately to feel however he wants to feel about it as well. One last question, though. Are you surprised, Casey? Just so not really all that excited about going over and meeting Ziva.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because there was two people that really didn't care to meet Ziva because Sloane didn't really seem to care to meet Ziva either. She seemed like she was just kind of annoyed that all this was going on the way that was going on. Nobody seemed to have any kind of control over themselves over this.
Yeah, and I guess ultimately with Sloane and with Casey, it is this sort of position where, you know, you're kind of new at the office and everyone keeps talking up how great the old people are, and then you're just like, hey, you know what about me? I'm great too. You know,
new team, new people in there that are also great.
And I think though with Torres it's a little bit different because he's with Bishop all the time and because, you know, he's into Bishop.
Okay, yeah, we need to talk about that. So that was a beautiful little Ziva moment that I just loved when she had him in that headlock and was like, stop being a wuss and just tell her how you feel. I love that. It was such a cool little moment, and if she can see it, everyone can see it. Casey mentioned it last season. They're building on this. It is going. This is going.
It's just so funny because how much time did Ziva spend around Torres? Like a 30-minute car ride?
She can read
She's already
people.
figured this out?
Yes.
Clearly. Has Ziva been with the BAU from Criminal Minds for this past little while, and she's gotten so much more in tune with personalities?
It's possible. It's all years and years of experience. She can read people.
No kidding. All right, we'll conclude this discussion of NCIS Season 17, Episode 2, but we want to know from you guys. What did you like the most? What reunion or meeting did you enjoy the most with Ziva? And what do you think about the ending? Did you almost fell off your chair like Jess did? Let us know in the comments and give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us more by checking the link in the description. We will be back with a preview for episode 3, and we'll see you here next time.